I'm a pastor, an artist, an author, a scholar, and a conversation. Welcome to Chastfest with Kenneth.
Hello. For my guest here, I'm actually going to allow him to introduce himself because I honestly believe people can introduce themselves better than somebody else can. So let's just jump right into it. My esteemed gentleman, who would you say you are and what do you do?
Okay. Hello. My name is Benabi Benatari Ogoko. Currently resident in the United Kingdom, a UK citizen as well as a citizen of Nigeria.
So you're a dual citizen.
Dual citizen of the Ijaw ethnic nationality, Niger Delta.
And my cousin.
Yes, and your cousin. I remember very well the late Professor Patrick.
Yes. My dad. So
yeah,
how
so that's me.
So you live in England. When did you relocate over there?
Originally, I was taken there as a boy of 10 years old.
How old?
Stayed there for 10.
Oh, okay.
The age of 10. My father packed his family back, and uniquely for somebody from the UK, he went straight down to the village. So we had a taste of village life. So I was there, for schooling. Did the remaining schooling in Nigeria. Stayed there for roughly 12 years, and then relocated back to the UK in pursuit of education.
Okay.
And then with education came job opportunities and
family.
Yeah, family. So I've just been moving back and forth, but I've kept in constant touch with my village. So anytime I go to Nigeria, I make sure I spend a minimum of at least 1 week
in the village.
Yeah.
So, I actually I stayed I've had village experience. I stayed 1 month in Sabama.
That's nice.
That was my first time, and it was a culture shock to that whole no light, because this was back in the late 80s. So for me to literally stay 1 month, but I acclimatized and I actually started getting used to it. And now I understood the whole process and the mindset. I enjoyed my time there. Of course, being the city boy, I knew there was a time up for me to get out and leave. But I would say I did enjoy it. So what I would ask you is, because you did mention that you always go back. Anytime you visit, you go to the village, spend at least a week. So my question to you is, what makes you stay connected? Because I know a lot of other people who go to the diaspora and they're like deuces and don't care anything about back home, or even when they go back home, they just go to the city and they're done. So what is it? What is that thing that makes you connected with your people?
The first one maybe is because my mom. She decided to retire, stay in the village. She said, irrespective of when my father passed away, she said that she's going to stay there because of us. So she lives there.
Okay.
That's number one. And then two, when I went back, I kind of like had I had a good feeling, even though it was a lot of amenities weren't there. I just had a kind of good feeling about Angiama.
Okay.
So
maybe that's what has caught me now. Maybe that's the same thing I'm experiencing now. I
yeah,
caught the bug because I
yeah.
went
So I had
last
a good
year
feeling.
and
I have a good
I
feeling
love that
about.
feeling.
I have a good feeling about Angiama. It's like the village people. When you go there, they're nice, open, and honest to you and everything. So
Yes, yeah, it's a simple
despite all
lifestyle.
the shortcomings and lack of modern facilities,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it. So I just said, and my dad just told me that it's up to you to if you want Anyama to be the way you want it, it's up to you to do it. You can't rely on other people.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. I completely understand what you're saying because when I did my social heritage tour last year and I went, I guess I caught the bug because it's like a simple lifestyle and it's so welcoming and embracing. And that's one thing that complete opposite of being in the city, the city life and the
Yeah.
city drama.
And then
So
nowadays you can be there and do all your stuff.
that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Because it is a global world now. We have technology, we have our phones. That is absolutely true. So, how did you? So that feeling of community, of belonging to your community, has kept you going. So, would you say that was part of what got you involved in the healthcare agenda? How did you get involved in that healthcare in Toru-Angiama community?
Okay. All right. Because I always touch base in the village. They're always keeping me abreast of what's going on, and they're always when there's one development initiative or the other, they may ask for financial assistance, which I do give, and sometimes they account for it properly, sometimes they don't. So
Okay.
because of that, I'm always abreast. So when I get there, I go around and say, "What's new?" I ask people, "What's new in the village?" Eh? And they take me around. I see this and I see that. So I said, I want to go and see the health center. Take me there.
Okay.
And then when they took me there, they told me that the local politician had done a contract and renovated, put a new building there. And I said, okay, that's nice. What's happening? They said, but it's not being used. The matron hardly comes as at that time.
Okay.
And so he's just lying there. So I looked in through the window and I said, well, why would the government build this thing and then it not being used? So I spoke with the current volunteer, Ebenezer. And I said,
Okay.
look,
So he's one of the healthcare practitioners.
Yeah, healthcare practitioner, and he's trained. He was trained in the Bayelsa School of the healthcare, whatever. So he's professionally trained in the healthcare.
Which
I asked him,
we'll talk about that.
yeah. So if you guys could maybe volunteer and do some work there, and you get something just to take care of your at least feeding, since you're coming here to do some volunteer work, would you be able to keep this place open? He said, yes, we can do that. I said, okay. But we need permission from the local government.
Okay.
So I wrote to the local government and told them that this is what I want to do. This place is there. The matron
So
complained.
you actually initiated it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I initiated it, and then the local government they agreed. The matron agreed as well, and we said that the healthcare volunteers will complement our work, and that's how it all started.
Okay.
I agreed to say, okay, I'm going to help raise funds to do that. So initially, I did 1 or 2 pieces of fundraising, and then
But the majority of it has been out of pocket for you.
yeah, out of pocket. And then I for now, because I was caught up in so many things, I said, okay, I'll just try and fund it from out of pocket for now until I get a proper campaign, which I wasn't able to do. So I
Which is
set
where
up,
I come in.
yeah. So I set up a GoFundMe, which I haven't closed down, but since I haven't advertised or anything, it's just there. So a few people did actually contribute, and
Okay.
that lasted for maybe a few months. But after that, I took over, and that is this the second year now? The whole of last year, the whole of this year. So this must be the second year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it started last year.
Yeah, maybe last year or the year before last.
So yeah, I think it's the year before.
Yeah, the year before last. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this is the third year now.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the third year.
Okay.
So
So would
as
you
I
say?
started,
So would you say when you started it, the two volunteers which we have, I think is Ebenezer. What's the second one's name?
people came.
Okay. So had two of them already been trained yet, or they had to go for the training?
No, they were already trained.
Okay, so they're already trained, and so they
They were
would just
already
have.
trained, but like in Delta State, there's a lot of what do you call it? Employment. Even though these people are needed, the local government or the state government for one reason or the other are not employing them. So they were
Okay.
basically idle.
Okay.
So I said,
So we
okay,
had skilled people who were actually idle that were
yeah,
ready,
so
waiting
you need
to
to
be
make use of
used for their skill.
skills. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Um, one thing that I have often heard. Okay, so now, okay, before I go to that, um, so you have the vision of the healthcare, you initiated it, and the ball was set rolling. You had people, volunteers to come work, and then you also the finances needed was out of pocket. You did some little fundraising, and there were some people that supported, and so it started, and the ball was rolling. So, what? How has it been with the healthcare functioning? The healthcare center functioning?
From that point onward, when they noticed that somebody, maybe my quote, an enlightened person was taking an interest in the healthcare, the matron, who may or may not have been coming to work, started coming more regularly.
Okay. Okay.
That was number one. And then I asked them, because I said, look, I need regular reports. And then thirdly, I have a younger brother who's a medical doctor in Yanagua. I said, look, can you monitor what they're doing?
See, I didn't know about that part. So you actually have a medical someone in the medical field who is actually overseeing and keeping an eye on things.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
he monitors, and he also, for example, if the matron is not around and they got emergencies, his number is there for them to call as well.
Okay.
So it seems him being a son of the soil, and anytime he comes to the village, those in need of medical assistance flock to
Yes.
our house.
Your
Flock to
house
our
is
house.
an extension of the
Yeah.
healthcare
So
center.
it's an extension of the healthcare center. So the monthly reports.
Yeah, because I see that. I see the
Yeah,
monthly
they do
report.
come, and when I go down there, I ask around, and they say, yeah, we're making use of this place more than before.
Awesome.
And gradually, for example, people used to rush a lot to when they, especially deliveries and all that stuff, pregnant women being delivered, they rushed them to Sagbama and all those places. But now they seem to be doing more of them at the healthcare center.
For people who don't know, what will be the distance from Angiama to Sagbama? Like how long will it take to get there? 30 minutes? Hour?
No, it will take maybe a 20-minute drive if you're going to drive by car, but you have to cross the river.
You have to cross the river. So that would be like crossing the river is like 20
and then
minutes,
crossing the river,
30 minutes.
The river, you might have to wait because the boat doesn't cross all the time.
That's true.
An hour.
So it takes an hour possibly course, and then now you drive. So you look at an hour, 30 minutes ish, 2 hours for somebody who's in labor.
Yeah. So you can those issues, and then you have to climb up. The person has to you have to lift them
climb
up.
Down the jetty, climb up the jetty.
Yeah. All those things are so it's very inconvenient.
So those are things that have been eliminated now.
Yeah, a lot of that is eliminated. I think it's only in extreme circumstances that people are rushed down there.
Like where their skills are not, where they need someone with advanced medical skills.
Yeah, so more and more minor, what do you call it, interventions are done at the healthcare center. And something which I explained to them and explained to my younger brother, I said, look, when we really take a look at it, a lot of the healthcare needs are minor.
Yeah.
They don't actually need to go into a general hospital. They just need the proper advice of a healthcare professional, what to do, what to take, and guided by that, and then they're okay. And then you have a more specialized or more intense needs. So there's a lot that can be done locally, but it doesn't need to go to the a general hospital. Number one, that Sagbama Hospital is in Bayelsa. We have Patani Hospital. That's even further away than Sagbama, because the road from Patani to Angiama is not properly viable yet.
Okay.
So that one's there. And then there's also
then you got to wait for the transportation again to get the transportation to go. And so
so all those ones are coming into play. So because of that, the local option is the best option, and people also prefer it. The health center has been there for a number of years. It could be maybe 15 to up to 20 years plus. That health center has been there, but it's been neglected. Sometimes it's functional totally. There's nobody actually there. But until it was recently revived.
Until your intervention.
Partly my intervention, even though, as I said, the politicians did put a new building there.
True.
And there
was laying dormant, literally, basically laying dormant until you and others got involved to jumpstart the to make it functional. So you would say among the basic things that they're basically these two young men who are being financed out of your pocket.
Yeah.
These two young men basically are attending to the general medical needs of the community that do not require a skilled medical expert. So like childbirth, as long as it's not complicated, and the basic, just what other things do they do?
From the reports.
And
give me 1 second. Let me check for this one of their reports.
So while you are checking for that, what would you say a general day in the healthcare center is? So they open up at a certain time, and then the people come in.
When I went there,
Mm-hmm.
there was one time I went there and they were doing some forms of immunization.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
yeah.
that's what they were doing when I went there.
Oh, yeah, that
But
is true. I remember
mhm,
last year when I
yeah,
went, they were telling me how they were doing. They were giving they were giving they were informing and educating the people on better health care, especially when COVID was like an issue,
mm,
how people could better protect themselves and be in compliance. So, and they had a little card to keep track of people that they had communicated with. So that was interesting. I was I was very impressed with that.
okay. Like their report, there was a report for 29th of August. Uh, a mother delivered, for example, he said mother delivered yesterday. That was the 28th of August.
Mm-hmm.
And at the
Okay.
same time, there was a tragedy as well, because there was a stillbirth
Oh wow.
on that same day. So there was two women who were having labor. One delivered successfully, and then there was a stillbirth where the baby died. But they sent a fuller report where they said antenatal care. There were nine. They attended to 9 cases.
Okay. Okay.
That is for the month of August.
For the month of August.
Yeah, 9 cases of antenatal care. Yeah, family planning for the females,
Okay.
11, and for the male, there was only one person.
Okay.
Yeah, malaria, being a malaria-prone area,
Yes.
they treated 0 to 5 years, 50 cases,
Wow.
5 to 18 years,
Okay, so
12
zero to
cases.
5 year children. They did
Yeah,
50 children, basically.
yeah, 50 cases. Yeah, and it's normally prevalent more in the children.
Yeah, that's true. Because they're the
Yeah,
most vulnerable.
one at the time. Yeah, yeah. 5 to 18 years, there were 12 cases that they treated, and then 18 years to and above, there were 27 cases that
Wow.
they treated.
And this is just for the month of August.
Yeah, that's malaria. So you can see,
They are
uh,
busy.
yeah, it's those things like malaria and all those type of things. Those are that need quick intervention.
So that also will mean that because you can't talk malaria without the simultaneously mentioning drugs.
Yeah.
So how is their accessibility to drugs?
Okay. Now they don't get them. Sometimes the government supplies some free medication, but it's rarely. So
They have to literally buy.
yeah, the villagers have devised a system where they are directed to a pharmacy. Hmm? So
Mm-hmm.
the healthcare workers, they will direct them to uh, pharmacies. Hmm? Some
Uh-huh.
which they might manage, and even if they don't, they say, well, so far you get wherever you get the medication,
Mm-hmm.
come back with them, and we will help you treat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to be expensive for because this we're looking at a community that is mainly farming, fishing, um, agricultural in, occupation for sustenance.
Yeah,
And
the community is what we called raw, in certain areas food rich but money poor.
yeah,
Mm? That's
exactly.
what I normally tell. So
That
yeah,
you
you're
just
food
I
rich,
was being
money
diplomatic.
poor.
You just hit it on the head. Okay. So yes, there's sustenance, there's food, but there's no cash per se.
Not much money. Mm?
Yes. And so now you have
Uh,
somebody who had needs medication,
yeah,
which is basically cash.
cash. Yeah. So that is the basic what do you call it, incapacity of the village when it comes to money. Some of these things might a round of treatment might cost the medication might come to around 2,000 to 3,000 naira as of that time. It might be more now, could be around 5,000. And typically they may, where am I going to get the money from? Sometimes when we're around and people just knock on our doors, it's okay, look, go and meet this guy, tell him something,
the extension of the healthcare center.
we pay the bill. So you're looking at roughly 5,000 naira worth of medication that they will have to for a particular treatment. And sometimes that what puts them off. They say, I haven't got the money, then I just go and bear it out.
Wow.
Well, normally maybe to take a agbo.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, agbo is the native treatment.
Which some do work. It's not that some
actually, you know what? I know this is a sidebar, but actually, if you look at the Chinese, they have taken time to do medical research on their native treatments and see what makes it work and invested in that. We, on the other hand, in Africa, we haven't really invested in the native treatment to see how the science and the native treatment can marry each other, where science now refines the native treatment to be more effective, to work better, because the native treatment does work.
For example, a baby suffering from acute malaria, you might be able to give them the agbo, but they might be dehydrated.
Exactly.
And then it's the dehydration plus the fever that would maybe bring them
become lethal.
Yeah. Now, when you recommend to them, so okay, look, your baby is suffering from dehydration now. They don't want to eat anything or even drink. But okay, let's do this that quick intervention where you're using glucose and salt.
Exactly.
Which helps with this. Now, to buy the glucose is a problem because of the cost.
Because of the cost. So we're back to the money again.
So it goes back to the money. Normally, they prefer the what we call it, the drip. I don't know the technical term. I forgot the technical term.
Okay.
That is the glucose solution, saline solution that they directly into the bloodstream. That's done regularly, but that costs money as well. But the second option,
you can't do that if you're doing the traditional, if you're going strictly traditional.
Yeah, you may. Although I'm saying that, if you're going traditional, the traditional method may get rid of the malaria, but
it now adds extra.
The intervention for the dehydration, you will need that particular.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's when lots of young children, babies or whatever, that's when they become extremely vulnerable. And only because the parents couldn't afford to buy that particular either the glucose or the intravenous what do you call it, solution.
Okay. So so obviously we're doing this to create awareness for the healthcare community, the healthcare center, and their needs. So we already have highlighted some things that are needed. My question to you is, so how can viewers support? We obviously are talking about want to do a fundraiser in November. And are there what will be the things that people who are watching should be conscious of, that this is where our money is going towards? This is what's needed. This is what I'm contributing towards.
Okay. The first one is the volunteer themselves. It's not really a salary.
It's like a stipend-ish.
It's a stipend where it's just enough for them to give them an incentive to come take care of food bills when they're there. So if it was a salary, you'll be looking. I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just to take care, give them an incentive that okay, their time that they're there, the the time which they could have been used doing something else, they sacrificed the time to be there, and we can pay that minimum at least to cover their feeding during that period. So
Yeah.
that's what the stipend is for, and they're willing to continue to do that for as long as possible. Even if one of them move on, other ones should be able to take their place.
Okay.
So in order to retain them, we need that uh, uh, guarantee that we get some funding that can take care of the stipend
Their
of
needs.
of their needs, at least two persons. And then maybe because of the cost of living is going up and up, maybe increase that stipend a little bit.
Okay.
And, yeah, so that acts as an incentive to keep them there and give them the joy of volunteering for their community. So that's for on the issue of the stipend. The second one
Then there are
is
two uncompleted buildings that are
adjacent
to the one that the politician built.
Yeah. So those are buildings that they fell apart. They were built and they just what do you call it became deteriorated and they fell. So those needs to be rebuilt because the community is growing, and the healthcare needs are coming. As we said, I can see from the reports, those healthcare needs are coming more and more, and you get to the point where you need more space, and then some of the healthcare workers, at the moment, the volunteers are there. The matron, so she stayed there. She's supposed to stay there actually, but she comes from Patani. So she's supposed to have a place where she can stay and live comfortably anytime she's there. And then also you have especially the natal issues. Young women, they don't need to be discharged as rapidly as possible. Give them enough time, and then some of these extreme cases, they could be able to recuperate in the premises and so forth. So you need to have enough bed space and then accommodation for healthcare staff. Even if it's the volunteers, some of the volunteers, they will gladly maybe spend the night there because some of these emergencies take place in the night.
Okay.
Yeah. So to keep be on call, so to speak. Some of you will be aware of on-call situations where you're needed at any time.
So we need the finance to redevelop those two buildings. What about equipment? Are there things that maybe, obviously, if you redevelop those buildings, there needs to be furnishing for.
Yeah, they need furnishing. At the moment, there's basic furnishing there. Those plastic chairs and tables for the reception area.
Okay.
And that's it. I think I looked at some of the beds, and I'm not particularly happy with those beds, but that's what was provided.
I have 3 minutes more.
Yeah. So furnishing of an equipment, and then maybe some basic.
So what we will do is we will basically itemize the things generally needed. So we are creating awareness for what the healthcare center will need, and at least, and we are grateful for your passion, for your commitment, dedication, getting me on board, And
Thank you very much
hopefully
for
we'll
coming
get
on board.
others. Hopefully we'll get others on board too to help support, because this is not just for individuals, but for also organizations and institutions to help with this vision. This vision is more than this is for a community. It's not an individual vision. This is a vision for the community that we need
Community.
all the help that we can get.
Yeah, we're trying to change the narrative where, you know, in communities, villages appear helpless.
Yes.
So something as community help, it should be available to members of the community, and it should be of a high standard.
Yes.
So that's the narrative that we're trying to change, so that people don't need to only get high standard healthcare by going to the city.
True. You're absolutely right. Well, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you. Definitely appreciate it. And we also are aware that your home is an extension of the healthcare.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And viewers, we will appeal to you to join us in once the fundraising campaign is launched. We do need your help. We need your assistance. We need your individuals, organizations, institutions. We will need all your help.
Before you go, I got a little bit. There's one doctor doctor in Germany. He's giving me some equipment. I don't know,
okay.
Either it's for blood pressure, something like that. He came to London and dropped it off. I'm still yet to collect it, but once I get them, I'm bringing them down to the village. And because I told him about these things. He said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do something. And he donated those equipment.
That's awesome. Thank you much.
Thank you.